Hey guys, so I am here to do my labor and delivery story. I am so excited to do this video. I kind of feel like a little girl in the candy store, I'm not gonna lie. I'm so excited to share my story with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'm just gonna go ahead and jump on in. I am gonna backtrack to 38 weeks and 5 days. I had my 38-week appointment at 38 weeks and 5 days. So I went in for my 38-week appointment. The lady took my weight and my blood pressure and all that fun stuff, a urine sample. And I had noticed that when she weighed me, I was like, oh, I've lost 3 pounds. So she went back to see, my weight gain and stuff, and she was like, yeah, you're right, you've lost 3 pounds in a week. So she went ahead and made a note to the doctor. Waiting for my doctor. He came in, noticed that I had lost 3 pounds, so he's like, all right, let's go ahead and measure your belly. My belly was measuring, I'm going to assume 35 weeks still or under, because he was very concerned, and he was like, all right, like either you're going to have a baby today or tomorrow or within the next week, because we're going to have to induce you. But first, let's go ahead and do a emergency ultrasound to kind of see how baby's doing, and we'll go from there. We scheduled an ultrasound for 11 o'clock. My appointment, I want to say, was at like 8 in the morning, so kind of a big gap. I was really worried. I was scared. I didn't know if something was wrong with Hendrix, or it's just, there's always that fear in the back of your mind, because you don't want anything wrong with your baby, and it's scary when you don't know. 11 o'clock comes around, and we're in there for the ultrasound. We didn't get pictures or anything, which was okay with me. I didn't care at that point. I was like, just let me know if my baby's okay. Passed his biophysical perfectly, which was great, but he went from the 45th percentile to the 7th percentile, which is a pretty big gap. So that meant he pretty much had kind of stopped growing. My doctor was busy, so she was like, all right, like, you're good to go. The doctor will call you with, your results, and have a good day. I was kind of freaking out, but I just went on with my day. We went to Verizon, and I got the phone call from my doctor, and he said, all right, do you want to be induced on Wednesday or Thursday? And I was like, Wednesday. So that was September 2nd. I went in September 1st for my appointment, so it was the next day that I was induced. He had talked to a bunch of specialists, and he knew that that is what was best for me and the baby, which I was kind of bummed to be induced, because I was looking forward to, my water breaking, and oh my gosh, is this really labor or is it not? And just like that excitement of everything. But I knew it was medically needed, and it was what we had to do, so I was okay with it. I then had to wait for a call from the hospital. They were going to let me know what time to come in and what to do from there. So about 30 minutes after talking to my doctor, my hospital called, and they were like, all right, we'll see you at 7:30 in the morning to be induced. Make sure you do call at like 6 a.m. or so to make sure that we have a bed. The next day rolls around, and at 6 a.m. I called to make sure that they still had a bed.
For labor and delivery, press 3.
Hi, this is KyndalRicks. I am supposed to be induced at 7:30, and I just wanted to make sure that you guys still had a bed available.
Yeah, let me ask my chargers, Kendall. Let me ask you. Oh, you're having a baby boy, but
They did, because it was medically induced. They were like, yep, you have a bed, you're good to go. We'll see you at 7:30.
The next time that I see this place, I am going to have a baby.
We went ahead and picked up my sister, Brittany. So we went and picked her up and headed to the hospital. I was like 15 minutes late because we went and picked up Jamba Juice as well. Since I know after a certain point you can't eat, I really wasn't hungry, but I knew I needed to get something in me, so we just went and picked up some Jamba Juice. I went in around 7:45. They admitted me. I walked up the stairs to labor and delivery, and they went ahead and gave me my gown so that I could get dressed. I got my gown on, pressed the button for the nurse to come back in, and we started doing a bunch of paperwork. They just ask you every question in the book. So between 8:30 and 9, so about an hour of questions, that's when they finally started getting my IV and Pitocin started.
His heart rate's gone down a little bit.
At 9:30-ish, they had checked me, and I was already 2 centimeters dilated. and 80% effaced, which is a really good start when you're being induced. It's 9:30. I am 2 centimeters dilated and 80% effaced. They just turned up my Pitocin, and I'd say I'm having contractions. How far apart would you say?
About 10 minutes.
Or 10 minutes? I don't know. I feel like it's more than that, but I could be wrong. It's like I'm not, like I can feel it right now, but I think that's everything I have to say. I've got Gus here. I got my mom here. You can't see her. She's the one recording, but and my sister's here. I'm having a contraction. From there, it was just kind of like a waiting game. So every half hour, they would come and up my Pitocin. At 12 p.m., I was dilated to a 3 and was 90% effaced. At 5:40, that is when I had requested for some pain medication via IV. So not the epidural, but it's just something that they put through your IV. And I was really iffy to get that because I think it's Rachel and family, but she was talking about how she got it and she absolutely hated it. She was really loopy and just didn't like it. So I was like, I don't know if I want to get it. But I was 4 centimeters dilated at that point, and I just needed something to take the edge off. So I was like, you know what, give it to me. I don't care. Just give me that little bit of pain medication to take the edge off, which it did. And it was really, really nice because I was able to take a little bit of a nap. You get exhausted so quickly when you're in labor. So I was able to take a nap.
5:41. It's 5:41. They haven't broke my water. I'm almost 4 centimeters an hour ago, so I'm probably at a 4. She said between 3.5 and a 4. I got some medication for my pain. It's not the epidural yet. I don't remember what this stuff is called. Still feel them, but I can talk through them again. So they're not as bad as they were. But waiting to have my doctor come in and break my water. Got my mom here. Hello. We've got Gus.
Right.
And I guess my mom can take you guys around the room and kind of show you guys. It's a nice room.
You have the TV and the cart prepared for her. And then in the cabinet is where all the baby stuff is when he gets here. And then on the other side is just the door and whatnot. And again, there's Gus and some more cabinets that they've got all sorts of nursing stuff in. And over here we've got Mr. Hendricks beating away. And some more good stuff. And Miss Kimball working her way through another contraction.
At 6:30, my doctor came in to break my water, and let me tell you, that is a really weird feeling. I was like, oh my gosh, like, is this gonna hurt? Because it's my first baby. I didn't know how they broke your water. I was like, do they like stick a needle up there? Like, what do they do? But really, it's just like this little plastic piece that's like long, and they just go to check you, and then they take this like little plastic thing and put it up there, and it just pops it, and your water just goes gushing everywhere. It feels like you're pretty much peeing yourself, so it wasn't bad at all. By then, my labor really started to pick up, and my contractions were so much worse. And I kind of expected that because I always heard once your water breaks, or, you know, they break your water, the contractions are so much worse, and believe me, they are. So I was trying to, you know, breathe through them, but I was getting to the point that I couldn't. They were really consistent every 1 to 2 minutes, and they were lasting, I would say, at least 30 seconds long, maybe 45 seconds at the most. So they were pretty consistent. They were very painful to the point that I couldn't even cry through them. It was just like I was yelling, ow. Yeah, I didn't care at that point, so I had requested the epidural, and I was kind of bummed because I was like, oh my gosh, like, they just checked me a couple hours ago. I'm probably still like a 4, and if this is what it's like to be at a 4, what is it going to be like when I'm at an 8 or a 7 or what have you? So I was like really bummed about requesting the epidural, but they checked me, and I was actually 8 centimeters dilated, and then she went ahead and stretched me to a 9. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, I thought I was still at a 4. So they went and got John, which was his name, to do my epidural, but it turns out he had just left the hospital, so I had to wait for my epidural, and I was pissed. I'm not even kidding. Like, I was getting mad at the nurse, and she was just doing something simple like moving the monitor on your belly around, and I was like, don't touch me, don't touch me. And I was like, Mom, you're fine, like, you're good, you know, you can rub my belly, whatever, but you don't touch me, like, stop. And she's like, I'm just moving your monitors because they're, you know, they're slipping. And I was like, I was getting mad because I was in so much pain. I was in so much pain to the point that I had actually started throwing up. So that was not fun at all, between throwing up, having a contraction, and like trying to sit up, and just, it was not fun. I was miserable, and poor Gus was just like, he was just like white, like, oh my gosh. He felt so bad. I was very impressed when getting the epidural, because you always hear horror stories about the epidural, like it went wrong, they had to do it 2 or 3 times, and it is a long needle going into your back. So it is very scary, but honestly, like, I didn't even feel it. I would say it felt just as if you were getting an IV in your arm. So that's the best thing I could compare it to. It legit felt like nothing. It was very slick with it, and the nice thing about it, because my contractions were so consistent and so painful, it only took 2 minutes tops to kick in, which was really nice. I had one last big contraction that was super, super painful, and then I could feel the epidural working its magic. My feet were getting all tingly to the point that I couldn't feel them, and it just started to go up. Weirdest feeling ever. It kind of almost felt like my legs were amputated, because I tried to move them and I couldn't. The nurse was like, hey, like, I need to check you. Do you want to, you know, put your legs up on the stirrups? I was like, I can't move my legs. Like, they feel so heavy. I can't move them. I can't feel them. So I'd asked her to get the anesthesiologist to come back in, and he came in, and I was like, yeah, I can't feel my legs. I don't really like that. I want to be able to obviously not feel the pain, but be able to feel my body enough that I know when to push, and I can feel myself pushing. He's like, well, unfortunately, you're gonna kind of have to wait about 30 minutes for it to wear off, because it's not in a drip bag. It's kind of in a syringe, I guess is the best way to put it. You'll see it laying on my chest when I show the clip of me pushing later, but he's like, you know, so it should take about 30 minutes to wear off, which it did. After that 30-minute mark, I would say I was able to feel my legs, not to the point that I could get up and walk, but enough that I could lift them up and put them in the stirrups when I needed to push. With the epidural, I got the shakes really, really bad. I had a hard time eating ice. My ice chips, people had to feed them to me because I was just shaking so bad. I remember trying to put my chapstick on, and people had to help me with that because I was just so shaky that I couldn't even, like, get it in one spot on my lips. It was horrible. But I forgot to mention, about 10 minutes after getting my epidural, Hendrix's heart rate started to drop. So they took me off the Pitocin, and they started bringing in all these different nurses, and they were adding IV bags to my little IV stand, and I didn't know what was going on. They're putting oxygen on me. I don't know if I already said that, but I was really freaking out. I started crying. I didn't know what was going on. There were just so many nurses, like, doing this and that, and nobody would tell me what was going on.
We're now dilated at 8.
Yeah, see?
We're getting ready to have this little guy.
Sorry, I didn't
You want to
really
wave, Kendall?
Do you want a search still, or do you want to do the rest of the LR?
Here. I just piggyback it in, because then you don't have to have another IV. You have that.
I was just absolutely terrified because I didn't know what was going on, but luckily my mom was there to kind of talk me through it and calm me down, so thank you, Mom. At that point, I had just taken a nap, and when I woke up, everybody was gone, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, where am I, kind of thing, because I was just so out of it, and I had the best nap I think I've ever had when I got that epidural. Oh my gosh, it felt amazing, but I couldn't figure out where anybody was, so I texted my mom, and I was like, where is everybody? And she's like, oh, they're all out in the waiting room. I'm just on the other side of the curtain watching a show. So she came in to check on me, and at this point, it was about 9:30ish, so my nurse came in, and she wanted to go ahead and have me start practice pushing. She had noticed that I wasn't really getting a contraction. She's like, okay, let me just, like, kind of go back and look, and she's like, your contractions are about 45 minutes apart at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and start up Pitocin again. So once she started the Pitocin back up, by 11 p.m. I was ready to push.
push, 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 push. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got one more? Let's do one more time. Here we go. And push. Come on, Kyndal.
Come on,
You're doing
girl,
so
you got
good.
this.
You're moving that baby down. Great. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. 7, 8, 9, 10. Fabulous. Come on, Kyndal. Push as hard as you can, as hard as you can, as hard as you can. Keep going, keep going. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold that breath out. Another big deep breath in and go right back at it. Push as hard as you can. Yep, just like that. There you go, girly. There you go. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold that breath out. Another big deep breath in and go right back at it. Come on, girly. Push as hard as you can. Harder, harder, harder than that. There you go. Big push, big
got
push,
this,
big
kid.
push. 7, 8, 9, 10. One more time. Here we go. One more time. Push. Push, 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 push. Yep, just like that. There you go. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, and relax. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we'll let you relax. I'll put a blanket over you.
Okay.
Take your legs out of the stirrups. So I'll give Dr. Adams a text. Tell him to just head on in and we'll keep pushing while he's on his way.
Okay.
Anything for your people?
We're having a baby.
About 10 to 15 minutes into pushing, my doctor was having a hard time getting Hendrix out, so he went ahead and started using a vacuum, which I had no idea what it was. I've heard of it, but I didn't really know what it was. So thankfully, as he was, going about using that, he was just telling me, okay, like, it's just like this little thing, and he's showing me, so it's, to show you guys. But it's basically just this little circle that they put on baby's head, so it's like a suction cup, and they just kind of pull on it. You'll see it in the clip here in a second, but it just kind of helps bring the baby down while you are pushing with him.
Harder, harder, harder than that. Harder than that. There you go. There you go. 8, 9, 10. Great pushes. Big deep breath in. Go right back at it. Come on, you can do it. Push as hard as you can. Harder, 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 harder. Keep going, keep going. 7, 8, 9, 10. One more time. Here we go. You can do this. And push. Come on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Damn, baby really needs it.
Push, push. 7, 8, 9, 10. That breath out. Another big deep breath in. Let's get this baby out. Come on.
Baby really needs it. Harder, harder.
Push, 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 push.
Oh, no.
That's okay. Keep pushing. Big deep breath
Keep going, keep going.
in. And push. Push, 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 push. There you go. 8, 9, 10. Let that breath out. Another big deep breath in. And go for it. Come on, Kyndal. Push. As hard as you can, as hard as you can, as hard as you can. There you go, there you go, there you go. Keep going, keep going, keep going. 7, 8, 9, 10. You got one more. Let's do one more. Here we go. Push. Come on, Kyndal. You can do this. Push, 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 push.
The nurse next to him was like, all right, doctor, like, it's popped off 4 times in a row now. What are you going to do? He's like, all right, like, let's do an episiotomy. So he picks up his scissors, and I am like, oh my gosh, like, I don't want an episiotomy. I didn't want to tear. I didn't want to have an episiotomy, but with it being my first child, like, chances of that was pretty high. So he went ahead and did an episiotomy, and he's like, all right, keep pushing. So I waited for the next contraction, was pushing, still having a hard time getting him out. So he's like, all right, we're going to have to use forceps. Okay, mind you, forceps is a very scary word when you are about to push a baby out. So I'm like, forceps? Like, what do you mean forceps? So he's like, okay, pretty much it's just like a pair of tongs almost. So they're like these metal things. Again, you'll see it in a clip here in a second, but they're like 2 metal things that he goes down there with and kind of like grabs onto baby's head right here and helps pull him out. The forceps worked, and my little Hendrix was born at 11:40 p.m. So I only did 40 minutes of pushing, which is really good for 1, being induced, and 2, for it being my very first baby.
Breath out.
Here he comes. He's coming, baby.
Come on.
You
push.
got this. Come
Push
on,
as hard
kiddo.
as you can, as hard as you can. Big deep breath in, and let's deliver those shoulders.
It's okay,
Big
baby. He's here.
You did
Come
it.
on.
Those shoulders. Push.
You're almost done.
Push.
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 Relax now. Relax now.
Okay.
Relax.
Here he is.
Okay.
It's okay. There he is.
Where are you crying, buddy?
Oh, he's so angry.
Hi, buddy. Yes, you did good.
Yes. So could you lift him up for me? I'll get a nice warm blanket under him. Oh, thank you, Jamie. Such a guy.
Look at him.
He's so mad.
Look at that big old fat cord.
That is a big cord.
You have been feeding that baby well. No.
Come on over here, Dad.
Go do it.
2340.
You made it Wednesday.
Legs down.
So he's born on Wednesday, September 2nd, which is funny because if you guys have followed my journey through my pregnancy, you would know every Wednesday of my morning sickness, I was sick. Every Wednesday, without a doubt, I would almost have to go in for an IV. Well, I did. I think I went in like 5 times maybe for an IV because I had been throwing up so much and it was just on Wednesday. So how funny is that Hendrix was born on a Wednesday? With the episiotomy and pushing and everything, I did end up with a 2nd-degree tear. It took him a while to get me stitched up. I want to say at least 45 minutes to an hour. Maybe I'm exaggerating. It just felt like a very, very long time. And as soon as he was getting the last stitch in there, he's like, all right, look, I'm just about done picking on you. I was like, all right, it only took you 9 months. Obviously, I was joking. But I think my biggest fear with being induced and him being born was that, oh my gosh, he's going to end up in the NICU. You know, something's going to be wrong with him. But that was not the case at all. And I'm so grateful to have a healthy baby. And, you know, granted, my delivery was very hard on me, especially with, you know, me being so small down there. That is why they had to use the vacuum episiotomy forceps. Hendrix was only 6 pounds 9 ounces and 19.5 inches long, so he wasn't a big baby either. I was just very small down there, but I was terrified that something was going to be wrong with him. But I'm so grateful that there was a NICU team there to, you know, be ready if he was going to have to be taken to the NICU, so I'm very grateful for that. And I'm even more grateful and blessed that he was 100% healthy and I was able to have him put right on my chest right away and be able to see him and experience that moment. It is the most incredible thing, and I am way beyond excited that my mom was able to capture it on camera, on film, so that I will forever always have that memory. I'm never going to forget my child being born, but to be able to see it again, it just brings back so many emotions, and it's just the most beautiful thing ever. So that is really it for my labor and delivery story. If you guys want to know what it's like right after having a baby, you know, what happens after you have the baby and whatnot, you know, like the first 24 hours of postpartum, let me know and I will gladly tell you guys what it was like, because there's so much that I didn't expect because nobody tells you. So let me know if you're interested in that video. Other than that, I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye!